On our 7th wedding anniversary, I waited for 2 hours at a Michelin-starred restaurant. Finally, I saw Cruz-chan arrive with his 26-year-old subordinate in his arms. Ria, he froze for a moment. What are you doing here? I smiled and glanced at the fluctuating stock chart on my phone. Waiting for you. Isn't today our anniversary? Oh. He released his grip from the girl's waist. I forgot. The girl cooed sweetly. Brother Cruz, who is this? My wife. He introduced casually as if mentioning something trivial. So this is sister-in-law Islabi. I knew her name, looked me up and down, her gaze sweeping from my slightly disheveled hair to my stain flats. My apologies. My apologies. I stood up, picked up my bag. I won't disturb you anymore. Wait. Cruz-chan suddenly called out to me. Actually, there's something I want to say to you. I turned back and looked at this man 7 years ago. He was still a spirited programmer who clumsily knelt on one knee to propose on my birthday. Have a seat. He pointed to the spot beside him. I naturally sat down beside him, leaving me no choice but to sit across from them. The waiter approached. May I take your order? 2 Wellington steaks, Cruz-chan said without even glancing at me. And a bottle of 82 Laugh. Sir, the 82 Laugh requires prior reservation. Then bring a good bottle. He waved his hand impatiently. I glanced at the prices on the menu and couldn't help saying this meal costs enough to buy groceries for a whole month. I covered her mouth with a light laugh. Sis-in-law really knows how to live frugally. Yeah, she's especially good at it. Cruz-chan sneered. So good that out of the 30,000 yuan, I give her monthly for living expenses. She can save me 2,800. I remained silent. The 28,000 is all in my stock account. Ria, let's talk. Cruz-chan said seriously. This life is unbearable. Oh, look at what you've become. He frowned. You don't style your hair. You don't buy clothes. All you do every day is stay at home with the kids. Do you even remember what you used to be like? Of course I remember. The rear Lin from before was an elite investment banker earning $1 million a year. Striding through the CBD every day in 10 centimeters heels. Brother Cruz is right. I chimed in at the perfect moment. A woman should still have her own career, though I can't compare to how sister-in-law was back then. At least I'm a department manager now, and can help share some of Cruz's burdens. Look at her. Cruz-chan's gaze lingered on Isla for a few seconds before turning back to me. Now look at you. I picked up the water glass and took a sip. My phone vibrated. I glanced at it. A certain stock had hit the limit up. Let's get a divorce. Cruz-chan finally got to the point. Reason? Do I need a reason? He said impatiently. Don't you have any self-awareness? A woman who can't even support herself. Do you expect me to take care of you for the rest of your life? I smiled again. Brother Cruz, don't be so harsh. Sister-in-law has given her youth for this family. Youth. Where was he when I spent the whole night in the bathroom taking care of our feverish daughter? Where was he when I was so exhausted I could fall asleep standing in the kitchen? Where was he when I went to prenatal checkups alone and entered the delivery room by myself? What about Xiao Man? I asked. I'll take care of her, he said generously. After all, she's my daughter. No need. I shook my head. I'll raise my own daughter myself. You'll raise her. Cruz-chan laughed as if he'd heard the biggest joke. With what? Just then the steak arrived. The aroma was enticing, and the presentation exquisite. I cut a piece and put it in her mouth. It's delicious, sister-in-law. Won't you try some? I stood up. No, I still have to go back and cook for my daughter. Real Lin Cruz-chan called out to me. We're going to the Civil Affairs office tomorrow. I turned to look at him. Cruz-chan, are you sure? All right, then. I smiled. See you tomorrow. Leaving the restaurant, it started raining outside. I didn't have an umbrella, so I just walked in the rain. My phone vibrated again, and I glanced at it. Account balance. 8,327. 650 yuan. Rain mixed with tears streamed down. 7 years. It's time to end this. The next morning, I woke up at 6 o'clock as usual. First, I made Xiaomon's favorite pumpkin porridge, then fried 2 sunny-side-up eggs and sliced some ham. Mom, Xiaoman said, rubbing her eyes as she came out of the room. Where's Dad? Dad went to work. But today is Saturday. Dad has to work overtime. Xiaoman pouted and sat at the dining table. Dad hasn't played with me for so long. I patted her head. Be good. Eat your meal first. Cruzchen didn't come back until 8 o'clock, still wearing yesterday's clothes. He frowned at the breakfast on the dining table. Didn't we agree to get divorced? The Civil Affairs Bureau doesn't open until 9 o'clock. I said calmly, have something to eat. I'm not hungry. Whatever. Xiaoman looked up. Dad, where were you last night? Cruzchen said impatiently. Kids shouldn't poke their noses into others' business. Mom said you were working overtime. Eat your food. Xiaoman shrank back in fear, her eyes turning red. I pulled her into my arms. It's okay. Daddy's just in a bad mood. Come, let Mommy feed you. Cruzchen watched us mother and daughter, with a complicated expression in his eyes. Real Lin, are you really sure about this? It's not about me being sure. I continued feeding Xiaoan porridge. It's about you being sure. I'm doing this for your own good. He sat down. If you keep going like this, your life will be ruined. I smiled without saying a word. Ruined. I glanced at the portfolio return on my phone. Plus 892. 37%. Mom, Dad, what are you talking about? Xiaoman asked uneasily. Nothing. I kissed her forehead. Eat up. Mom will take you to the amusement park later. Really? Xiaoman's eyes lit up. Of course. But she looked at Cruzchen. Is Daddy coming? Daddy has something to do. Cruzchen stood up. Let's go. Don't waste time. I wiped Xiaoman's mouth clean. Sweetie, be good at home. Mommy will go out for a bit and be back soon. Where is Mommy going? Mom went till I paused to take care of some grown-up business. As I left the house, I glanced back at it one last time. 7 years. Every corner of it bears my effort and care. The living room sofa was my choice. The dining table was my pick. Even the wedding photo on the wall was hung there at my insistence. And he said, this life is unbearable. Let's go. Cruzchen urged impatiently. I closed the door and said goodbye in my heart. On the way, Cruzchen answered several phone calls. Okay, I'll be right over as soon as I finish this. Don't worry, it won't take long. Tonight, sure. Same place as usual. I knew who was on the other end of the line. Are you in such a hurry? I asked what hurry. He played dumb. Never mind. There were already quite a few people lining up at the Civil Affairs Bureau entrance. There were young couples holding their children to get their marriage certificates, their faces full of happiness. There were also those like us here for divorce with varied expressions. How ironic. Cruzchen suddenly said, what? 7 years ago, we were also standing in this line. I remember now. It was raining that day too, holding an umbrella. He grinned foolishly and said, wife, I'll take care of you from now on. Yeah, I said. Time flies. It's our turn now. The staff member routinely asked, are both parties willing? Yes. Cruzchen answered first. Have you settled the division of property? It's settled. He answered again. The house and car go to me. She doesn't want anything. The staff member looked at me. Is that correct? I nodded. The house was bought before marriage, and the car was purchased by his parents. None of it was ever my concern. What about the child? He stays with me, I said. She left with nothing but the clothes on her back. Cruzchen added. The staff frowned. You need to think this through carefully. I've thought it through very clearly, but raising a child alone. I can handle it. I smiled. Thanks for your concern. The paperwork was processed quickly, and 10 minutes later, we received our divorce certificates. The little green booklet marked the end of a marriage. Is there anything else you need to take? Cruzchen asked. Grab it and move out quickly. No need, I said. I'm moving this afternoon. So soon? He seemed surprised. Yeah, I've had the place picked out for a while. A place? He laughed. Where'd you get the money to rent? I didn't answer, turned around and left. Reel in, he called after me. Don't push yourself too hard. If you can't hold on, just tell me. For Xiaomon's sake, I won't abandon you. 2. I waved my hand without looking back. Can't hold on. I opened my mobile banking app and stared at that string of numbers. Cruz Chun. Oh, Cruz Chun. You'll never know what this woman you look down on has done all these years. At 2 p.m. sharp, the moving company's truck arrived on time. I don't have much to take with me. Mainly Xiaomon's toys, clothes, and some daily necessities. Mom, where are we going? Xiaomin asked uneasily, clutching her teddy bear to our new home. Why are we moving? Because I crouched down to look at her. Mom found you a better house with a big balcony, where you can grow flowers. What about Dad? I paused for a moment. Dad needs to stay here for work. Xiaoman nodded, not fully understanding. At this moment, Cruz Chin returned with his lobby. Found a sucker so quickly. He glanced at the movers and said sarcastically. Islabi held his arm. Brother Cruz, don't talk about sister-in-law like that. Did I say something wrong? Cruz Chin sneered. What else can she do besides finding a man to support her? The movers exchanged glances. I ignored him and continued directing the workers. Be careful with this box. It contains fragile items. TSK. Islab shook her head. How pitiful. The home you worked so hard to build, just falling apart like this. Mom. Xiaoman suddenly ran over pointing at Islai. Who is this auntie? It is Dad's friend. But last time I saw her photo in Dad's phone, and Dad said she's the bad Annie from the company. The air suddenly turned silent. Ilab's expression changed. Cruz Chin flew into a rage. Don't talk nonsense, kid. I'm not talking nonsense. Xiaoman said stubbornly. Dad also said she looks like a fox spirit. You enough. I picked up Xiaoman. Don't scare the child. Cruz Chin took a deep breath. Hurry up and move. Don't be an eyes saw here. Half an hour later, everything was loaded onto the truck before leaving. I took one last look at this home. Rear Lin Cruz Chin suddenly called out to me. Anything else? You really have somewhere to go. I smiled. What? Worried I'll end up homeless and embarrass you? That's not what I meant. Don't worry. I held Xiaoman and got into the car. From now on, we'll go our separate ways. The car started. In the rear view mirror, Cruz Chin stood there with a somewhat complicated expression. Islab held his arm, saying something. Mom, Xiaoman asked softly, will we ever come back? No. Then can I still see Dad? I patted her head. Of course you can. Whenever you want. But Daddy doesn't seem to like me anymore. My heart ached. No, sweetheart. Daddy is just too busy. Xiaoman nodded and hugged her teddy bear tighter. The car drove for 20 minutes and stopped at the entrance of an upscale residential area in the city center. We're here, the driver said. I carried Xiaoman out of the car. Wow. Xiaoman's eyes widened. What a beautiful house. This is Thompson Riviera, one of the most expensive properties in Shanghai. I've had my eye on an apartment here for a long time. Just waiting for today. Madam, where should we move your belongings? The worker asked. 29th floor, Unit 2901. The security guard saw me and respectfully opened the door. Ms. Lin, you're back. Millimeter, I nodded. While riding the elevator, Xiaoman excitedly bounced around. Mom, this place is so fancy. Do you like it? I love it. Opening the door, a 180 square meter Riverview apartment unfolds before our eyes. The floor-to-ceiling windows offer a panoramic view of the entire Hangpo River. Wow. Xiaoman runs to the window. Mom, look, so many boats. I walked over with a smile. From now on, this will be our home. Really? Of course. But Mom, Xiaoman suddenly remembered something. Dad said you don't have any money. Dad doesn't understand. Mom, I picked her up. Mom has many secrets that Dad doesn't know about. What secret? You'll know when you grow up. In the evening, after settling Xiaoman to sleep, I sat in the study. I turned on the computer and logged into the securities account. Today is another day of bountiful harvest. I sent a message to my investment mentor. Teacher, I got divorced. Soon came the reply. Congratulations on your liberation. Remember, the best investment is investing in yourself. I laughed. Yes, investing in myself. 5 years ago, when I received the first grocery money from Cruz-chan, I understood this truth. Since he looked down on housewives, I would show him housewives can also have their own sky. 3 days after the divorce, I went to the kindergarten to pick up Xiao Man. Just arrived at the door when I overheard a few moms gossiping. Did you hear? Cruz-chan got divorced. Really? But wasn't his wife a stay-at-home mom? Exactly. She couldn't do anything. Serves her right for getting dumped. I didn't speak, waiting quietly. At that moment, Cruz-chan's mother arrived. Well, if it isn't real, Lin, she said sarcastically. What? Still have the nerve to pick up your child? Xiamen is my daughter. Why can't I come to pick her up? Your daughter? The old woman sneered. Are you worthy? A woman who can't even support herself. The surrounding parents all turned to look. Mom Cruz-chan also arrived. Accompanied by Isla by Cruz. You came just in time. The old woman pointed at me. She actually has the nerve to come pick up Xiaoman. Isla by affectionately held the old lady's arm. Auntie, don't be angry. Sister-in-law is also Xiaoman's mother. What sister-in-law? The old lady glared at me. They're already divorced. Mommy. Xiaoman ran out of the kindergarten and threw herself into my arms. Sweetheart, I picked her up. Xiaoman Cruz-chan walked over. Come home with Daddy. Xiaoman shook her head. I want to stay with Mommy. Be good. He reached out to pick her up. Xiaoman clung tightly to my neck. No, I want Mommy. Look what you've taught her. The old lady stomped her feet in anger. At that moment, Isla spoke up. Xiaoman, Auntie bought you a toy. She took out a Barbie doll from her bag. Xiaoman didn't even glance at it. I don't want it. How can this child be so rude? The old lady grew even angrier. Grandma is bad. Xiaoman suddenly shouted loudly. Grandma always scolds Mom. You and Dad too. Xiam's voice grew louder as she spoke. Dad never plays with me. And he even brings bad Annies home. The parents around whispered among themselves. Cruz-chan's face turned livid. Real Lin, is this what you taught? What did I teach? I looked at him calmly. Isn't what the child said the truth? You, Cruz-chan. I interrupted him. The divorce agreement clearly states that Xiaoman's custody belongs to me. That was a moment of foolishness on my part. Oh, I laughed, having second thoughts. I'm her father. I have visitation rights. I didn't say you couldn't see her. I turned around, holding Xiaoman. But only if Xiam is willing. Stop right there. The old woman blocked my path. What right do you have to take my granddaughter away? By the divorce agreement. How can someone without a job raise a child? She shouted loudly. Everyone be the judge. Does this kind of woman deserve to be a mother? The crowd of onlookers grew larger. I took a deep breath and was about to speak when a voice rang out. Real Lin, is that really you? I turned around and saw a woman dressed in professional attire. He's my college classmate and now a partner at an investment firm. Yuking. What a coincidence. She walked over. I was just about to reach out to you. Remember that stock you recommended last time? It's gone through the roof. Cruz-chan froze. You invest in stocks? He looked at me incredulously. Yuking laughed. More than just investing. Her insights are sharper than us professionals. By the way, Rin, would you be interested in joining our company? Well, don't be modest. Yuking patted my shoulder. Even my boss said your analysis report on pharmaceutical stocks was absolutely brilliant. The old lady opened her mouth, but couldn't speak. Islab, I also looked somewhat awkward. Let's talk another day, I said to Yuking. I'll take the child home first. Okay, keep in touch. I carried Xiao Man away, as the old woman's voice came from behind. Stop pretending. They must be in cahoots. I didn't look back. Some people aren't worth wasting words on. Time will tell the truth. On the weekend, my college best friends, whom I hadn't seen for years, organized a gathering. The venue was at a high-end restaurant on the Bund. I hesitated for a long time, but finally decided to go. Oh my, real Lin is here. As soon as I entered the private room, I was warmly pulled to my seat. Everyone present were former classmates, now all successful professionals in their careers. Ria, long time no see. The speaker was Mang Sisi, now an executive at a major company. Yeah, I smiled in response. I heard you quit your job after getting married. Another classmate asked. Yeah, staying home to take care of the kids. The atmosphere suddenly became a bit awkward. What a shame. Mang Sisi shook her head. You were the top student in our department back then, winning scholarships every year, and joined Goldman Sachs right after graduation. Yes, how many people envy you. But in the end, the words were left unfinished, but the meaning was clear. I picked up the teacup and didn't respond. By the way, where is your husband? Someone asked. Divorced. The private room fell silent for a moment. Good riddance. Mang Sisi patted my hand. That kind of man isn't worth it. How do you know it's his fault? Another classmate whispered. Isn't it obvious? Rear is so outstanding. It must be the man who cheated. Not necessarily, said Wang Lu, who had always disliked me. Some people just become useless after marriage, staying at home all day. Who wouldn't get tired of that? Wang Lu. Mang Sisi frowned. Did I say something wrong? Wang Lu crossed her legs. Women should still have their own careers. Look at me. My annual salary is almost breaking $1 million. Oh, I responded flatly. What do you mean? Oh, she said displeased. Real Lin, I'm not trying to criticize you, but look at the state you're in now. She gave me a once-over. What are you wearing? Unilo and your bag. A Dow knockoff. She's a full-time mom now. Where would she get the money for luxury goods? Someone chimed in sarcastically. I looked down at myself. Indeed, I was dressed very plainly today. White t-shirt, jeans, and canvas shoes. The bag is also a canvas one, as long as it can hold a wallet and a phone. What a shame. Wang Lu said insincerely. The department's beauty back then, but now enough. Mang Ci interrupted her. Sisi, I'm doing this for her own good. Wang Lu argued righteously. A woman in her 30s without a job or income, divorced and with a child. What will she do in the future? Exactly. Finding a job is so hard these days, especially since she's been out of society for so many years. If you ask me, she'd be better off marrying a man. The sound of everyone talking at once could be heard. I listened quietly, suddenly, feeling the urge to laugh. At that moment, the waiter entered. May we serve the dishes now? Go ahead, Mang Sisi said. The dishes arrived quickly. All exquisite French cuisine. Come on. Let's chat while we eat. By the way, Rain Wang Lu suddenly said, for the AA split, I'll cover your share. No need. Don't be polite, she said with a condescending expression. I know you're tight on money right now. Really no need. Come on, we're classmates. Beep. My phone rang. It's a text message from the securities company. The Conga Pharmaceuticals stock you hold has hit the daily limit up today, with a current return rate of 127.34%. Wang Lu caught a glimpse of it. Stock trading. Huh, just a small retail investor? Sort of. Don't mess with that. 9 out of 10 stock traders lose money. She shook her head. The little money you have isn't even enough to pay for the tuition fees. At that moment, Yuking pushed the door open and came in. Sorry I'm late, she said breathlessly. Just got out of a meeting. Yuking is here too. Everyone greeted her in unison. Yuking was quite famous in the investment circle, and everyone gave her respect. Ria, why didn't you tell me you were coming too? She sat down beside me. Last-minute decision. By the way, she pulled out a document from her bag. Here's the cooperation agreement. Take a look. What cooperation? Mang Sisi asked curiously. Oh, I'd like to invite Ria to be our company's investment consultant, Yuking said with a smile. The private room fell silent. Investment consultant? Wang Lu couldn't believe it. Huh? What's wrong? Yuking frowned. Ria's capabilities are there for all to see. But what about her? Yuking said unhappily. Do you know how amazing she is? The 3 stocks she recommended to me last year had an average return of over 200%. 200%. Someone gasped in astonishment. More than that, Yuking continued. Last month, the industry analysis report she sent me made even our investment committee members feel inadequate. Wang's expression changed. Rear. Yuking turned to me. Starting at $3 million per year, plus bonuses. Interested? I thought for a moment. I might not have time to work in the office. No problem. You can work remotely, Yuking said sincerely. It's mainly providing investment advice. You can set your own schedule. Let me think about it. Don't think about it, Yuking said anxiously. Do you know how many people want to poach you? Just then my phone rang. It was Xiao Man, Mom. When are you coming back? Be good, sweetie. Mom will be back soon. I miss you. Mom misses you too. After hanging up the phone, I stood up. Sorry, I have to go now. Leaving already? Mang Cici tried to stop me. My child is waiting for me at home. Let me walk you out. Yuking also stood up. No need. I'll take a taxi myself. Before leaving, I glanced at Wang Lu. She kept her head down, looking very upset. After leaving the restaurant, I took a deep breath. Actually, I have thought about returning to the workplace. But now, I have more important things to do. Watching Xiao Man grow up is more important than anything else. As for those looks of disdain and mockery, time will tell. 1 month after the divorce, that day, I took Xiao Man to the mall and unexpectedly ran into Cruz Chun. He was standing alone at the entrance of a luxury store, looking solemn. Dad Xiao Man instinctively hid behind me when he saw him. Cruz Chun froze for a moment when he saw us. After a month apart, he had lost a lot of weight with a stubble of dark beard on his chin. Xiao Man. He forced a smile. Xiao Man ignored him. What's wrong? I asked. You don't look well. Nothing. He shook his head at that moment. Isla came out of the store carrying several shopping bags. Brother Cruz, do you think this bag looks nice? She waved the Hermes in her hand. Cruz Chen's expression darkened even more. Only then did Isla notice us. Oh, isn't this the ex-sister-in-law? It's you, I said calmly. Oh dear, look at me. She held on to Cruz Chen's arm. I completely forgot you two are already divorced. Cruz Chen shook off her hand. Stop fooling around. What's the big deal? Isla pouted. I just want a bag. Didn't I just buy you one yesterday? I don't like that color. I picked up Xiao Man. We're leaving first. Wait. Cruz Chen suddenly called out to me. Something else. He hesitated then finally asked. How has Xiao Man been lately? She's doing well. Has she asked about me? Xiao Man buried her face in my shoulder and didn't speak. Cruz brother Isla. Stomped her foot in dissatisfaction. Why do you care about them? Cruz Chen glanced at her irritably. I turned to leave when my phone rang. Ms. Lin. An unfamiliar voice came from the other end of the line. It's me. I'm the secretary of Huading Group. Our chairman would like to meet with you to discuss investment cooperation. Huading Group. I was somewhat surprised. Cruz Chen's expression suddenly changed. Yes, our chairman has read your investment analysis report and is very interested. I see. If it's convenient, tomorrow at 3 p.m. in the executive lounge of the Shangri-La Hotel. All right. I'll be there on time. After hanging up the phone, Cruz Chen stared at me. Who? Addictive Group is looking for you. Yeah. Do you know their chairman? No. I shook my head. Maybe they got my contact through a friend. Cruz Chen's expression was complicated. I know what he's thinking. Huading Group is their company's largest client, accounting for nearly 40% of their business volume. Recently, there's been talk that Huading is planning to change suppliers. He hesitantly began. Could you Cruz, brother? Islabi interrupted him. We should go or we'll be late for the spa. Cruz Chen gave me a deep look, but in the end, he said nothing. In the evening, I received a call from Manjisi. Rear. Did you know Cruz Chen's company hasn't been doing well lately? Oh whoa. Ding Group is terminating the collaboration, and their company might lay off half of its employees. I see. I heard it's because he offended someone. Mang Cici lowered her voice. Seems related to that little girlfriend of his. I remained silent. Don't you think he deserves it? Mang Cici said indignantly after how he treated you back then. Now, he's getting his comeuppance. Cece, I interrupted her. These things have nothing to do with me anymore. True, she sighed. By the way, are you really going to work at Uding? Not work just as an investment consultant. That's still impressive. Mang Cece said excitedly. Waiting's investment division is top tier in the industry. After hanging up the phone, I gazed at the night scene outside the window. To be honest, I wasn't surprised that Huading reached out to me. Over the past 6 months, I've written over a dozen industry research reports published on some professional forums. I used a pseudonym, but everyone in the industry knew who it was. I'm not doing this for fame, just to prove one thing. Even as a full-time mom, one can maintain professional competence. Mommy. Xiaoan came over and hugged my leg. Is Daddy in trouble? I patted her head. Why do you ask that? He looks unhappy. The baby is so kind. Mom, should we help Dad? I thought about it. If Dad needs help, Mom will consider it. Mom is the best. I picked her up, feeling a mix of emotions. Cruz Chun, you left so resolutely back then. Now, how should we end this? The next afternoon, I arrived at the Shangri-La Hotel on time. I changed into formal attire and applied light makeup. Ms. Lin, the chairman is waiting for you. The secretary led me into the executive lounge. As I pushed the door open, I froze in surprise. Long time no see. Real Lin. Sitting on the couch was my college roommate, Su Minggu. Minggu, I exclaimed in surprise. You're the chairman of Huading. Surprise. She stood up with a smile and gave me a hug. What a wonderful surprise, I said sincerely. Back in school, she was already a prominent figure. After graduation, she started her own business. I never expected it to be this successful. Come, have a seat, she said, pulling me down. I read the report you wrote. It's truly excellent. You flatter me. Don't be modest, something you said earnestly. Especially that analysis of the pharmaceutical industry. Even our investment director admitted he couldn't match it. I just have some personal insights. That's precisely what's most valuable. She poured me a cup of tea. Ria, come work with me. The bright moon. I know you have children to take care of. She interrupted me. So, I've come up with a solution. She produced a document. Independent consultant. No office hours required. Project-based payment. Just give us some advice when you're available. I flipped through the contract. The terms were indeed very generous. And there's more. Something you added. The company has a daycare center. You can bring Xiao Man with you. You've thought of everything. I'm a mother, too, so I understand your struggles. She took my hand. Ria, your talent shouldn't go to waste. I was silent for a moment. Let me think about it. Of course, she said understandingly. But there's something I'd like to ask you. What is it? Do you know anything about Cruz Chen's company? My heart skipped a beat. What's wrong? They've been having some issues lately. Su Minggu frowned. A project was poorly executed. And in what? They have a female employee seems to be named Ilub. She often misbehaves outside using the company's name. Suddenly, it all made sense to me. At a recent important client dinner, she got drunk and started arguing with the client on the spot. Summing shook her head. Such incidents create a very bad impression when they get out. So, you're terminating the partnership. It's not just that reason, she sighed. The main issue is their proposals really aren't cutting it anymore. Their innovation capabilities have significantly declined. I remained silent. Cruz Chen's company was able to secure Huing as a major client in the first place. And truth be told, I played a part in that back then. I leveraged my connections to help him bridge the gap. In fact, the core ideas of many plans were provided by me, but he never thought anything of it. In his eyes, it was all his own ability. Rear Saminga looked at me. I know he's your ex-husband. If you feel uncomfortable, don't make it difficult. I shook my head. Business is business. That's good. She breathed a sigh of relief. Actually, we're already looking for new partners. After chatting for a while, I stood up to leave. Rear Samingyu walked me to the door. No matter what decision you make, we'll always be friends. Thank you, Mingyu. Stepping out of the hotel, the sunlight was just right. I took a deep breath and sent Hutching a message. I've signed that cooperation agreement. It's time to start over. Not to prove anything to anyone, but for myself. After signing 2 consulting contracts, my life has become much more fulfilling. Spending the day with Xiao Man and working late into the night. Though tiring, it's fulfilling. That day, while I was writing a report at home, the doorbell rang. Opening the door, Cruz Chun stood outside. He looked terribly haggard, his eyes bloodshot. "Can I help you? Could I come in and sit for a while?" Seeing his condition, I stepped aside to let him pass. "Where's Xiao Man?" He looked around, sleeping in the room. He nodded and slumped onto the sofa. "Want some water?" "No need." He looked up at me. "Real Lin. I was wrong." I froze for a moment. I was truly wrong. He covered his face. "I shouldn't have treated you that way." "What's past?" "Hu Ding terminated the partnership." He interrupted me. "The company is laying off 60% of its staff." I stayed silent. I might be laid off, too. He forced a bitter smile. "The position of technical director has been coveted by others for a long time. My condolences." Kanji took a deep breath. "Real Lin, could you talk to Hewing for me?" I frowned. "Talk about what?" "Beg them for another chance," he said urgently. "I know you know their people, Cruz Chen." I looked at him. "Do you think this is appropriate?" You were the one who said we should each go our own way." "I know, he suddenly became agitated. "But real for Xiaoman's sake. Don't bring Xiam into this." I interrupted him. "Have you ever cared about her?" He was left speechless. "How many times have you visited her this past month?" I've been busy with work. Busy accompanying Urislabi. "I broke up with her." He hastily explained. "She's just a pretty face. Understands nothing and keeps causing trouble everywhere." I sneered. "Now you realize, Real Lin." He suddenly knelt down. "What are you doing?" I was startled. "Please." His eyes were red. "I'm truly at the end of my rope. Get up." "I won't get up unless you agree." "Mom." Xiao Man came out of the room rubbing her eyes. Seeing her father kneeling on the ground, she got scared and hid behind me. Cruz Chen froze. "Xiao Man, Daddy, why are you kneeling?" Xiao Man asked timidly. Cruz Chen's face turned bright red as he slowly stood up. Dad is looking for something." Xiaoan clearly didn't believe it, but remained silent. "You should go back first." I picked up Xiao Man. "We can talk about whatever it is after the child goes to school." Cruz Chen nodded dejectedly and turned to leave. Closing the door, Xiaoman asked, "Mom, did Dad do something wrong?" "Why do you ask that?" "The teacher said people only kneel to apologize when they've done something wrong." I patted her head, unsure how to explain. At night, I tossed and turned in bed. I recalled how Cruz Chen was when we first met. Back then, he was full of vigor and ideals. What made him become like this? Is it the arrogance that comes with success? Is it the flattery from those around you? Or is it the unwillingness to accept an ordinary life? I don't know. But I know once certain paths are chosen, there's no turning back. The next day, assuming you called Ria, has Cruz Chen contacted you? How did you know? He came to the company today and knelt in the lobby for 2 hours. I was shocked. What? Even the security guards couldn't bear to watch. Su Mingus sighed. Rear, what's going on with this guy? He might be genuinely desperate. Being in a hurry doesn't justify this. Su Mingus sighed helplessly. You're putting us in a difficult position. I'm sorry for causing you trouble. What are you talking about? She comforted me. But Ria, have you really not considered remarrying? Absolutely not, I said firmly. That's good. She sighed in relief. A man like that isn't worth it. After hanging up the phone, I looked out the window. Cruz Chun. Oh, Cruz Chun. You finally tasted the bitterness of being looked down upon. But who can we blame for this? A week later, Cruz Chin came knocking again. This time, he brought someone I never expected. His mother. Real Lin, the old lady said, forcing a smile and dropping her usual haughty demeanor. May we come in and sit down? I stepped aside to make way. The two sat on the sofa, and the old woman began to wipe her tears. Real Lin, it was my fault before. I apologized to you holding the teacup. I remained unmoved. Mom knows she was wrong. She continued, "You're magnanimous. Please forgive Cruz." "Mom," Cruz-chan said in a low voice, "don't be like this. What else can I do?" The old lady glared at him. "It's all because you're so disappointing." Then she turned to me again. "Lin Cruz knows he was wrong. Please give him another chance, Andy." I set down the teacup. "We're already divorced. Divorce can be undone." The old lady grew anxious. "If you're willing, we can remarry right away." "I'm not willing." The old lady's expression darkened, but she quickly forced a smile back on her face. "Lin, name your terms. Just say what you want." "I don't have the means." "The house," she suddenly said. "We'll put the house in your name." Cruz-chan frowned. "Mom, shut up." The old lady cut him off, then said to me, "And the car, the savings, they'll all be yours." I laughed. "Auntie, are you misunderstanding something?" "What do you mean?" "I don't lack money." I stood up. "Nor do I lack a house." "You?" The old woman looked me up and down. "You unemployed." "Who said I'm unemployed?" At this moment my phone rang. "Consultant Lin, your consultation fee has been transferred. Please check." I glanced at it. It was Hoarding's finance department. "Okay." Received. After hanging up the phone, I looked at the mother and son. "Sorry about that." It was the company's finance department. "Company?" The old lady was stunned. "Yes, I'm currently a consultant for 2 investment firms," I said calmly. "My monthly income is slightly higher than Cruz-chan's." Cruz-chan's face turned deathly pale. "Impossible." The old lady shrieked. "You're just a housewife, Andy." I interrupted her. "What's wrong with being a housewife? I'm a full-time mom, but that doesn't mean I'm incapable of anything else." I looked at Cruz-chan. "For the past 5 years I've been learning and growing." "But you never mentioned," he murmured. "Did you ever give me the chance to speak?" I retorted. "In your eyes. What else am I good for besides cooking and taking care of the kids?" He was left speechless. "Forget it. Let's not talk about this anymore." I glanced at the time. "I have a video conference in a bit." Lin. The old woman suddenly grabbed my hand. "Please help Cruz." "I can't help." "You can." She held on to me tightly. "Don't you know people from hating?" "So what?" "Go and plead with them to continue the cooperation." I shook off her hand. "Andy, there's no room for personal favors in business. You heartless woman." The old lady finally showed her true colors after all the money Cruz gave you. "Mom." Cruz-chan quickly grabbed her arm. "Did I say something wrong?" The old lady was furious. "She made a fortune in the stock market with your money, and now she's turning her back on you." I laughed. "Auntie, let me do the math for you." I took out my phone and opened the calculator. Cruz-chan gives me $3,000 in living expenses every month, totaling $18 million over 5 years. Out of this $18 million, the mortgage is $800 per month. Property fees are $2,000 and monthly. Utilities, gas, and internet cost $2,000 per month. Food, clothing, and daily expenses for me and Xiaoman are $5,000 monthly. The remaining money I save and invest all of it 5 years, turning $18 million into $8 million. I looked at her shocked expression. "Is this called using his money? This is called my ability." The old lady was speechless. "Oh, by the way, I added out of the investment principal. There was also $500 from my pre-marriage savings." Cruz-chan slumped onto the sofa. "So, you've been planning for this family all along." I finished his sentence, but unfortunately, you couldn't see it. "Mom." Xiaoman ran out and threw herself into my arms. Seeing Cruz-chan, she timidly called out, "Daddy." Cruz-chan's eyes re-eamed. "Xiaoman, Daddy missed you." Instead of avoiding him like before, Xiaoman walked over and gently tugged at his hand. "Dad, don't cry." This single sentence completely shattered Cruz-chan. He hugged his daughter, choking back sobs. I turned away, unable to watch the scene. Some tears come too late. 3 months later, my career was gaining momentum, and both companies were satisfied with my work. Recently, several other institutions have been reaching out to me. Consultant Lin, your analysis was absolutely brilliant. Yuking exclaimed excitedly over the phone. That pharmaceutical stock has surged by 300%. Just got lucky. Don't be so modest. She laughed. By the way, you can look forward to the year-end bonus. After hanging up, I went back to writing my report. At this moment, a transfer notification popped up on the phone. It was from Cruz Chun, who transferred 50,000 no child support for Xiaoman. After some thought, I accepted it. This is his duty as a father. After that incident, he never bothered us again. I heard he kept his job but was demoted. Islab I left long ago, reportedly finding another sugar daddy, and his mother never appeared again. Mom, can we go to the amusement park? Xiaoan tugged at my hand. Sure. I saved the file. Mom will take you. Yay. While packing my things, I came across the divorce certificate. The small green booklet lay quietly in the drawer. I picked it up and flipped through it. In the photo, I looked haggard and lost. Now then, I look into the mirror. The woman in the mirror is confident and composed. Mommy, what are you smiling about? Xiaoman asks curiously. Mom was thinking, life is truly wonderful. Why is it wonderful? Because I picked her up. Mom realized that only by stepping out of the comfort zone can one meet a better version of oneself. I don't understand. It's okay. You'll understand when you grow up at the amusement park. We had a great time on the merry-round. Xiaoan laughed happily. I took out my phone to capture this moment. Mom, let's take a photo. Okay. Should we ask Dad to join us? She suddenly asked. I paused for a moment. Do you miss Dad? A little bit, she admitted honestly. But Mom is more important. Silly child. I kissed her. Dad will always be your dad. I know. She hugged my neck. But Mom is the best. Why do you say that? Because Mom can earn money, cook, and play with me. I laughed in a child's heart. The definition of greatness is so simple. But behind this simplicity lies a mother's complete effort. In the evening, the sun sets in the west. We sat on the park bench eating ice cream. Mom, Xiaoman asked while licking her ice cream, will we always be like this in the future? Like what? Just the two of us? I thought to myself, maybe yes, maybe no. What if there's a new dad? I looked at her in surprise. Classmates say divorced people get married again, she said. Seriously, sweetheart? I said to her earnestly. No matter what happens in the future, Mommy will always love you the most. I love Mommy the most, too. The setting sun stretched our shadows long, one big, one small, leaning against each other. At this moment, I feel incredibly happy. Yes, life has dealt me a heavy blow, but I stood up and became even stronger. As for the future, who knows? Maybe I'll meet the right person. Maybe I'll stay single forever. But so what? I can support myself, have my daughter by my side, and a career to pursue. This life is already complete. One autumn later, I was invited to speak as a guest of honor at an investment summit. I put on my professional attire, which I hadn't worn in a long time, and stepped into high heels. The reflection in the mirror was both familiar and strange. Consultant Lin, are you ready? The assistant reminded outside the door. Almost there. The venue was packed to capacity. I took a deep breath and stepped onto the stage. Hello everyone, I'm Real Lin. The topic I'd like to share with you today is the long-termism of value investing. The audience erupted in applause. I saw many familiar faces. Yuking Sumingyu and some industry leaders. Then I saw him. Cruz Chun was sitting in the corner staring intently at me. I froze for a moment but quickly regained my composure. Investment is never something that can be achieved overnight. During the 40-minute speech, I never once looked in his direction. After it ended, I was immediately surrounded. Consultant Lin, your ideas are absolutely brilliant. Could we add each other on WeChat? I'd love to ask you some questions. Our company would like to invite you. After dealing with an enthusiastic audience, I was ready to leave. Real Lin, a familiar voice called out from behind. I turned around and there stood Cruz Chun a year apart. He had changed a lot. His hair was cut short, wearing a simple shirt, and his gaze had become much steadier. "Long time no see," he said. "Yeah, your speech was brilliant. Thank you." The atmosphere was a bit awkward. He scratched his head. "Do you have time for a coffee?" I glanced at my watch. "Is half an hour okay? I need to pick up Xiao Man soon." "That's enough." We sat facing each other in the hotel cafe. "So now I'm fine." He interrupted me. "Although I was demoted, the job is stable." "That's good. But he looked at me. "You've changed so much. People have to grow up eventually." He smiled bitterly. "I was too foolish to see your worth. Let bygones be bygones." "Real Lin," he suddenly said. "I regret it." I picked up the coffee cup and didn't respond. "I've thought a lot this past year." He continued. "I miss the best version of you, Cruz Chun." I put down the glass. "We can't go back." "I know." He lowered his head. "I just wanted to tell you how is Xiamen doing." He changed the subject. "Doing well already in elementary school." "Does she still hate me?" "Children don't know how to hate." I looked at him. "But once trust is lost, it's hard to rebuild." He fell silent. "You can visit her regularly," I said. "As long as she's willing." "Thank you." I stood up. "I should go now." "Real Lin." He called out to me. "Are you happy?" I turned around and looked at him earnestly. "Yes, I'm very happy." Stepping out of the cafe. The sunlight was just right. I didn't lie. I am truly happy with my own career, a lovely daughter, and a few close friends. The numbers in my bank account are still growing, but that's no longer the most important thing. What matters is that I've found my own worth, not as someone's wife or someone's mother, but as Real Lin, an independent individual. Another spring has arrived. Xiao Man is in second grade now, excelling academically and even becoming the class monitor. My career has also reached new heights as I've established my own investment consulting firm. Congratulations, President Lin. Friends offered their well wishes at the opening ceremony. Thank you, everyone. You sent a flower basket. Who would have thought that the stay-at-home mom back then has now become a legend in the investment world? Don't exaggerate, I laughed. How is that an exaggeration? Su Mingyu chimed in. Do you know how many people are trying to poach you? As we were chatting, Xiao Man ran over. Mom, there's an uncle looking for you. I looked in the direction she pointed. A tall figure stood at the door, holding a bouquet of sunflowers. It was Xinqing Fong, my senior from university, now a partner at a certain fund company. Congratulations on your opening, he said as he walked over and handed me the flowers. Thank you, senior. Don't call me senior anymore, he laughed. We're colleagues now, Yuking nudged me quietly. He's handsome. I glared at her. Mom, who is this uncle? Xiao Man asked curiously. His mom's friend Xinqing crouched down. You must be Xiao Man, right? So adorable. Xiao Man shyly hid behind me. Don't be afraid. He magically produced a small gift. This is for you from Uncle. It was an exquisite music box. Thank you, Uncle. Xiaoan accepted the gift. You're welcome. In the evening, after the celebration ended, Xinqing Fong offered to take us home. No need to trouble yourself. It's on my way, he insisted. In the car, Xiao Man had already fallen asleep. Real Lin, he suddenly spoke. I've waited for you for many years. I froze. I liked you since college, but you only had eyes for Cruz Chen. He smiled self-deprecatingly later, when you got married. I gave up. Senior, let me finish. He looked at me earnestly. Now that you're single, I was wondering, could you give me a chance? I fell silent. I don't need an answer right away, he said. I can wait. Xingfang. I took a deep breath. Right now, I haven't even thought about these things. I understand, he said gently. It's hard for someone who's been hurt to believe in love again. But Real Lin, not all men are like Cruz Chen. There are people who know how to appreciate your worth and cherish what you give. The car stopped downstairs. Thank you for driving us back. I got out of the car, holding Xiao Man Rear Lin. He called out to me. I'm serious. I nodded and turned to go upstairs. After settling Xiao Man down, I stood on the balcony lost in thought. My phone rang. It was a message from Cruz Chen. I saw the news. Congratulations. I didn't reply. Another message. I always knew you were outstanding. It was just that I was too foolish back then. I thought for a moment and replied with 2 words. Thank you. Then the dialogue box was deleted. Some people are destined to remain in the past. As for the future, I gaze at the myriad lights outside the window. The future is still long, full of endless possibilities. Maybe I'll accept Shin Ching Fong. Maybe I won't. Maybe I'll remarry. Maybe I'll stay single forever. But no matter what, I won't lose myself again. Because I finally understand a woman's greatest confidence is never given by a man. It is earned by herself. Mom, Xiao Man called out to me drowsily. What's wrong, sweetie? I had a dream that Mommy turned into a superhero. I laughed. What kind of superhero was Mommy? The most powerful superhero? She mumbled before falling back asleep. I tucked her in and planted a kiss on her forehead. Thank you, my darling. You've made Mommy a better person. Outside the window, the night was gentle. A new day is about to begin, and I am ready.